This simple realization may change the way that you experience reality and even influence the reality you experience. This realization is your thoughts, do they really create your reality? And if you do believe that your thoughts create your reality, what thoughts are you having? Or are your thoughts having you? Now, the realization around this is if you're able to have awareness, we'll talk about this self awareness, and you're able to observe your thoughts, then are you really thinking, or is it just you sometimes losing yourself in thoughts about things from beliefs that were passed to you? One of the biggest beliefs that I hear time and time again is that we have to survive, work for a living, trade our time for money so that then we can live the life that we love. But is that really true? Like, where did we learn this? Where were we told this is how life works? I'm not saying that life doesn't work that way. I'm not saying that if you go and get a job and you get an income, that you don't then use that money to live your life. But what I'm asking the question of here is where did you pick up the belief that is how your life was going to work? And therefore, you had to go find a job, find a certain income in order for you to have the permission and the ability to live the life you love. That's not freedom to me. Doesn't matter how good your circumstances are, whether you have an incredible job with a huge pay packet or you're an entrepreneur in a business where you're making a ton of money. If you think that your business or your job is what gives you permission to have the life that you love, you are still a slave to what you do because you're putting power into what you do. You're saying, it's what I do that gives me the life that I have. It's what I do that gives me permission to be able to go and do what I love. So therefore, you're not just doing what you love because you love it. You're doing what you love because you're telling yourself that the life you live, the work that you do, the time you trade, the sacrifices you make are why you deserve the life that you have. And you got to ask, where did you learn this? And when did this become true for you? And if you're grasping where I'm going here, yes, we're talking a bit about mindset here. We're starting to talk about where are we really conscious of our thoughts and therefore creating the reality we experience. Because if you're someone that does believe that, you're like, well, yeah, my thoughts create my reality. It's me. I'm the one that's deciding how I live and what my life looks like. If that's true, then why are we giving so much power to life when the power's been in you all along? If you really know the power's in you all along and you were this, let's just say, infinitely powered being and you could create anything at the snap of your fingers, why would you work for a living? Why would you sacrifice something in order to have something else? Do you think something that was also powerful and encompassing when it comes to its ability to create would put itself under such limitation? Maybe if you didn't know you were that powerful that you could simply decide and then watch how your reality bends around you to support the decision you made. Hang on and stay with me here because I'm not some woo woo guy that goes, well, yeah, it's just our mind. I don't have to go to work today. So I'm just going to sit here and think about the life that I love and that will just happen. I don't have to do anything. I'm not talking about that. That's where people do get woo. That's where people chase manifestation. They want to understand, how do I manifest? Because they're just lazy. They're hoping that if they can understand manifestation, then they don't have to do anything. Now, I'm not saying you have to do anything, but I participate in my life. How do I participate? I go do the things I love. I don't work. I don't have a job. I do what I love. I don't need to do this. I do it because I love it. It's who I'm being, and the energy that I get to express is that feeling that already feels free, feels alive, feels joy, feels even peace and love, accomplishment for no reason. It's not because of what I'm doing, it's who I'm being. And when you realize that, you start to see life reflect the feeling of who you're being, the energy of who you're being, the frequency in which you're operating from starts to influence your reality around you. And yes, you start to see opportunity. You start to see things in your reality in terms of possibilities grow. You start to see things come to you that you actually would love, and you throw yourself into them because you love to. You don't want a life where you just snap your fingers and the things that you love just appear before you, because that would get boring. I know you think, oh, wouldn't, if I snap the fingers, have anything I want, then I'd just sit here. but you're not here to attain things and specifically just think about the outcome and result. You're here to show up and participate in life. But are you participating from a place of already being alive, already feeling fulfilled, already knowing the power that you already have and are, and then expressing that and moving through your life from that space because you can? Or are you not aware of that? And you're in your mind, consumed by the prison of beliefs that have been handed to you. And think about this. Where did you learn you have to work for a living? Where did you learn you had to sacrifice time for a paycheck? Who taught you that? And imagine if you didn't know that. Imagine, let's just say, that you grew up in a place where you were told, hey, anything's possible. You don't have to work for a living, just go do what you love. And not only can you just go do what you love, but the more you continue to do what you love, more things you didn't even realize you love will find you. Imagine someone told you that and you didn't know any different. And maybe you started to see people that were doing that. Someone that goes and follows their feeling, does what they love, and they start to see how life starts to unfold around them. Still, you experience life, the ups, the downs, the chaos, the peace, all of it, the duality of life. But that person is so sensitive in who they're being and aware of their power that they realize all this is happening for them and they can accept it. They can even enjoy the chaos. They can enjoy it as much as the peace because they realize it's all an experience. So therefore, to enjoy something called duality, reality, life. When we realize that's what we're here to enjoy, the experience of this, that you're over here and I'm here, and that we get to touch things and hold on to things, we get to, yes, grasp things that we love for a moment in time. And then there's this period of letting it all go and having to accept all that. But if we start to connect with the essence of all things, we start to feel this energy, this space where it's not just things we can touch, we can feel and sense things that aren't even formed yet. Think about things that you love. It's almost sometimes you think about something that you love and you can feel like it's already done, but you can't see the traits of that in form yet in your reality. But if you acknowledge that and accept that as more real, the feeling, then you may see how that comes into your story, how it comes into your life. I'm sure you can find examples of things that you've come to realize that you loved and said, I would love this. And then you've seen how in your life that's come about. I can just promise you that usually when you're not aware that it's just as simple as making a decision on what you love, your ego has hijacked the process and said, see what I did to make that happen. See how amazing I am to ensure that happened. And if that's happening, then guess what? You can also beat yourself up when things don't happen. Because when the ego's in control, you don't realize the power in which you already have and are. You're then looking to manifest. You're not realizing you are the manifested. What I mean by that is you're just noticing from a feeling, a sensation from your heart, your being, that which you love, and it's already done. You just got to get your mind out of the way so not to think, how? What do I need to do? Yes, you're going to notice things that you're going to want to do. Yes, you're going to notice things you're going to move towards. And go follow that feeling, go show up. But not with doubt or uncertainty that what you love won't come about. No, stay in that space. Stay in the place where you feel connected, where you feel like it's just all happening here and now. There's nothing missing. Without a thought of yesterday or tomorrow, but just super present of being here and now and open to all possibilities. Watch what comes about. Watch how the rules that you once told yourself that if I do this, I will then get that fall away. You'll see how things come about without you having to essentially go and do and make it happen. But just remind yourself that you decided that, and don't let your ego take credit for how you think you made it happen. If any of this is going over your head, just go back and look at in your life when you never had a plan, you didn't even set a goal, but something you love found you. What happened then? What happened? Don't you study those things and realize, hey, there's something else at play here. There's something beyond this idea of causality where I was told I had to go do something in order to attain something. Because some things just land in my lap. Now, I'm sure before it landed in your lap, you were there just living life and enjoying life. And then something that you realized you'd said you loved a while ago lands in your lap. Yes, But did you notice you were participating, enjoying life? You weren't obsessing over the outcome, the result, and how to make it happen. But a part of you said, I'd love that. And you then went and did the next thing that you loved in your life. And funnily enough, in following that feeling and in being yourself, the other things that you love or once noticed and felt in another moment become real in another moment in time. There's something about that. And it's just noticing that. So to get rid of the beliefs, the patterns that have told you, the conditioning that you are limited and that what you feel a sense for that you love isn't real. You got to start to decide what's more real. Is it the feeling that I feel for what I love in life? Or is it the reasons why I can or can't attain and experience these things? I don't have enough money, or my job doesn't make enough money, or I don't have the resources, or maybe I'm not smart enough, or what will people think? I don't deserve that. Watch your mind. Watch your mind have a conversation with you instead of stay open to the possibilities of what you felt a moment ago. This is a way of life that I started living, I would say, like from a place of no compromise 16 years ago, where I said, I'm going to go follow a feeling no matter what, no matter my story. Whether I fail, succeed, it wasn't about that anymore. I wanted to stay true to what I felt no matter what. And I didn't want to go then and fall into having to make what I felt happen from a place of lack or a place of not believing it would happen, but rather stay in a place that where it felt certain, even if it looked unknown in my story, but I was certain in what I felt that was going to happen. The journey of following that feeling, no matter my circumstances, was not easy because the logic would always try rob me. My ego would try and always hijack what was happening or not happening. But if you stay with the feeling of what's here to be expressed and what you love, watch what happens. Again, this is not something that's out there and woo woo. Go back to moments in your life where you've had such a feeling hit you, something that you'd love to achieve, do, be, become, whatever it may be. And you've stayed with that feeling and said yes to it. And no matter your circumstances, no matter what you had or had not, no matter what you thought of yourself, doubt, whatever it is, things came about in a way that surprised you. That's not just a moment in time where these things happen here and there. That's a way of life. It's a way of being. So I invite you to start to maybe notice what is it that you'd really love, and then notice the conversation that you have after that. Can you just stay open to what you love and decide that's what will be? And then go about staying in that space and move through your life moment to moment without letting the conversation rob you. To do this, you have to spend time with yourself. You have to get to know what it is to stay really present with that sense of being, that energy that isn't consumed and isn't consumed by this mind, this story of who we think we are according to ourselves in time, but being really present and open. That timeless space that you feel when you're really present in life and doing what you love, that way of life, that way of being, rather than the tiring conversation. So I invite you to start to explore that space. If that's something you want to explore some more, come and join the Infinite Ones free community that I've built. And there's a whole lot of people living this way of life and sharing their journey so that you don't have to think, is this real? But you can hear and see how others are actually practicing this and living it day to day, moment to moment. And it is real. It's a way of life. It's just not that many people talk about it because we're so convinced and conditioned by the beliefs that were handed down to us that that's how life works. So I'm here to survive. But really, do you think at those times when you feel so alive and so free that a moment later you have to tell yourself a story that you're not that free and so alive? So come join me on the Infinite Ones. I'll see you in there. Maybe we can continue this conversation.